Hi friends, we are back trying to do something on this island. I have never actually seen Nook do the morning announcements in the winter, obviously, because this is like the first time that I've done a new island since this game launched in March 4 years ago. Anyway, I think it's really funny that he talks about how cold it is, which makes sense because it is snowing on this day. And I wasn't expecting to have red here, so that was a fun surprise. I really genuinely had plans. Didn't really fulfill all of them. We do end up going to a couple of treasure islands. It took a very, very long time. I use Nook's treasure islands. I've talked about them in the past in a couple of other videos. I like their Discord system. It's very robust. However, the issue that I am facing, and this is a me problem, is that I am subscribed to them with my Twitch account. If you have more than one island, you have to have more than one subscription, and I use my Twitch Prime sub. I think that I might have been able to change my island name in their Discord. I didn't look at the rules. I haven't done that. So I'm not using the sub islands when I do the treasure islands in this video. I'm going to the public ones. And that took so much longer than I had anticipated. The one that I went to was DIYs and materials. And I mean, yeah, that makes sense that it was so full because everybody wants DIYs and materials. And with the constant traffic of people going in and out, there was a communications error that happened at one point that was not because of me, and it just took a very long time. The first time I ended up going, it didn't take that long to get in. The second time was when I got an error and it, sent me home. And then the third time, I literally think I was trying to get into that island for at least like 15 minutes, which is not the end of the world. I didn't really have much else to do. I paused the recording, obviously, because I didn't want to show you guys the dodo code. So that was just something that I hadn't really fully planned for. I probably could have fixed that if I read the rules in their Discord about name changes and stuff, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. I also figured out the internet, which is great. I did not have to use my phone hotspot, which is also great because I don't even know how to do that. I thought that it would be a lot easier than it evidently is. It was not showing up as an option to connect to on my Switch, but whatever. Turns out where I am currently staying at a relative's, they have two networks on their router. There's like a 2G and a 5G, and my Switch was connected to the 2G, and that did not work with multiplayer, so we switched to 5. It was fine. I ended up getting what I wanted, which was really just like a bunch of the festive DIYs and some crafting materials for them, like the ornaments and the snowflakes and whatever. I don't really even think I needed the snowflakes because I didn't get any of the frozen recipes, but that's neither here nor there. I think that we're going to get some of those done when the snow sticks to the ground on this island and you make a snow boy every day, because they'll give us a new recipe every time that we do that until we craft all of the frozen DIYs, and then they just give you items. I can't remember if I ever mentioned that before. Probably in the video I did earlier this year talking about making a perfect snow boy, but I think that that's really useful. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about in terms of like what's been happening with life, although at the time that you guys are seeing this, I will be back up in New England, and I almost was not able to come back up to Boston because they were gonna not fly us because the weather was so bad. It was so bizarre. So my boyfriend had left DC. He went up just fine. His flight, I think, was a little bit delayed, but like they ended up taking off. And then where I was leaving from, which was a little further south, they had us wait at the gate. They delayed us because they were trying to figure out if we could even fly into Boston. It was really, really windy and rainy. Then they were like, okay, we'll go. And we got on the plane and they had to get more paperwork or something, and they had to refuel, which I get that, whatever. That's fine. And then somebody deplaned. It was two passengers, a mother and child, and I think they were going somewhere abroad. Boston was their connection, and they didn't know if they were going to make the connection. So they went and talked to the gate agent and tried to see if they could get to their final destination, wherever that was, without having to fly through Boston, which would mean that they would not be on our flight. So our whole plane, now this was a small plane, it was like an Embraer, and and it was not full. But our whole plane was sitting there waiting for these two people. It wasn't as long. I think it was like maybe an extra 15, 20 minutes. It felt a lot longer though than it was because we were just sitting on the tarmac. And this is Delta, but that ended up working out fine because while we were doing that and while they were still waiting for the fuel and whatnot to get the plane ready, that is when they did our cabin service because the ride was so turbulent and so bad that they were not letting any of the flight attendants get up, obviously, because it would have been a danger to society. And then when we were at Logan going from Terminal A to Terminal B, for those of you who haven't been to the Boston airport, this won't make sense to you, but I'm going to try and explain. Terminal A is basically all Delta and like probably also their partner airlines. Terminal B is like everything else, same with C or whatever, and then E is international. Anyway, so we were going from baggage at Terminal A to baggage at Terminal B because my boyfriend flew a different airline and he got in Terminal B. And when we were going, I was with my father, and when we were going, we came across another traveler who was trying to figure out the airport. He'd never been to Boston before, and he had to talk to a ticket agent because they canceled his flight because of the weather. Don't know where he was going, but this was like kind of on the concourse between the two terminals. So Logan is so big that there's not only an interterminal shuttle, but there's also like a way that you can walk between the terminals without going outside. So we were between A and B, and we had kind of like just gotten to B, and we're going in the direction of ticketing to go downstairs and get to baggage. And this other man who was traveling, he was like, where do I go for ticketing? And we were like, oh, well, we're going this way. We'll just walk with you. And he was like, wait a minute. This is all Terminal B, right? I need to be in Terminal A. And my dad and I were like, oh. And so I was like, is your flight on Delta? Because all of Terminal A is Delta, and that's where you need to be. And he was like, yeah. And so I was like, just go back the way that we came. Because we met up with him like partway through, kind of like as we were going, right after the sky bridge between terminals A and B. Like I said, if none of you have ever been to the airport in Boston, it's an experience. And it's like a rite of passage. I've been to the one in Atlanta that has what they call the plane train or whatever. And that was for a layover, obviously. I've never actually been to Atlanta, but I've been there for a layover. And that was when I went to Hawaii a couple of years ago. And what was so bizarre is that we were getting in at one terminal and we had to go to the international terminal for our flight. Hawaii is not an international place. It is a part of the United States. It's a state. And for some reason, they had us leaving out of the international terminal in Atlanta. And it was so weird because throughout our flight, when we were going to Atlanta, the arrival and departing gates kept changing in terms of like the whole terminals. So originally, I think we were only supposed to go to like the next terminal over. And then they had changed our arrival gate to be at Terminal A or whatever. And then our departure gate was at whatever Atlanta's international terminal is. And our departure gate itself was at the very end of the universe in Atlanta's international terminal. It was like the last gate. It was a really long time. The little train thing though that takes you from place to place, it's almost like a subway system, I think, and it just goes around and around. That was interesting. I've taken airport shuttles before, but they're just like buses, not like the one in Atlanta. And I've taken the one in Florida too, which I guess is kind of the same thing, but whatever. I haven't really talked about this video at all. I'm glad that I was able to get a lot of the Christmas items off of that treasure island, and now I can put them around. I'm hoping that by doing so, and I'm going to work more on that in the next episode of this series, but I'm hoping that by doing so, by the time that we upgrade resident services and have all of our star ratings in order, that we might be at 2 or 3 stars. I know that you have to spread items out a lot, and also you need more fencing, and I think you need like a couple more villagers or whatever. And the thing about that is that I'm not really super bothered if we don't get to 3 stars right away. It's not the end of the world, and there's no way on earth that this island is going to be done before Christmas. We are already like 2 weeks out-ish not even, from Christmas. There's no way. We're not going to finish that in time. But that's fine because this, even though it's named Kringle, is going to be more of a wintry island with some Christmas touches all over it, like I said earlier. And I really want to use some of those Frozen DIYs too, like some of the Frozen furniture and the snow boy and the sculpture looking things. And I love that illuminated tree so much in like the white swatch. I think that that's such a pretty item and it looks really good, honestly, during the day too, because sometimes the illuminated items don't really look that great when they're not lit up. But in my opinion, I think it's neat. I don't really know who I want for villagers on this island. I've been thinking about it. I definitely want Flurry, probably, Eric, Hans. I know I have Flurry and Hans on Fawn, my main island. I also would like Tutu because she's the closest thing that we have to a polar bear. Beyond that, I don't know. Maybe like Maple or someone. I don't know who I want. And definitely another penguin or two and a wolf. Maybe Fang or Whitney or someone like that. I want to try and have a good mix of personalities, but also a good mix of species. I just hope that our smug camper, whenever we do the campsite and get that done, is a good camper. When I did Fawn, the campsite over there, our camper was Keaton, and he's not the worst. He's just not my favorite. My boyfriend had Klaus as his camper. He was disappointed. I've seen people that have gotten really lucky and gotten like Marshall or Raymond or whatever. I don't really care if I get Raymond. Marshall would be nice. Hans would be nice because he is smug, and that means that I wouldn't have to go on a villager hunt for him. I do end up furnishing the 3 house plots, but we're not doing any villager hunting this time. We're going to do that in the next one because I figure that I want to dedicate a whole entire episode to that instead of just doing it all in one with the plot finishing. That also means that I need to go and remember what day that we were on because I am concerned about going to the next day and having one of those plots fill because they're all done. So wish me luck in the next episode and hopefully we find some good villagers that we can get on this island. I know that they're not going to have their unique houses. They're going to have their starter homes, whatever. I might speed run through the Happy Home Paradise DLC once we unlock it in the storyline just to get the ability to redo villager houses. I'm not taking that super seriously at all on this island because I've been taking it very seriously on my main island and I don't think I have the energy nor the time to be doing a billion more vacation homes. I will show you guys some of the early storyline though in Happy Home Paradise if you're interested in seeing that. Like maybe you don't have the DLC or you haven't done that in a long time and you forgot like what it is all about in the very early stages. That's kind of what's going on now. And I always too keep forgetting that you can get more flooring and wallpaper from Timmy and Tommy at Nook's Cranny. I haven't been doing any of that. I really should go and do that in the future. Like maybe in the next episode I'll look in the cabinet and get some more flooring and wallpaper and stuff so we can do up our house a bit more. I swear to God that Mabel was here beforehand. I know I saw her at Nook's Cranny, but I thought that she had come already for me to buy stuff from her. I could be completely wrong. I could also just go back to a previous video and look. To be honest with you, it doesn't really matter to me either way. We're gonna buy some clothes from her. I wish that she sold better stuff in this part of the game because you have to buy a certain amount of bells worth in order for her to want to come to the island. And I get that, but like all the stuff that she has is not that great. It's not like what I am looking for personally, but I don't know. I also like don't want to waste my bells on it. And that's the other thing too, is that I don't want to use the treasure islands to get bells and to get like a billion things like items and stuff. I want to try and work towards some of that. That's why I didn't get the actual items when I went to those islands earlier. I just got the DIYs and materials because I figured that I can craft those and work towards the furniture crafting stretch goal things. I wish that we had a putting green. I don't understand why Nook has his own putting green in resident services, and that's not even an item for us to get in this game. Like, you can get the golf bag, and that's worth so much money when you get it at Nook's Cranny. But why don't we have the little putting green thing? Instead, we have to make our own with custom designs and pearls or whatever people are using for golf balls. Also, this group stretching scene looks so sad. There's like no one here. I'm really looking forward to getting more villagers. I know I said I wanted to keep Rolled around because I like him. I'm not quite so sure about Renee. I don't dislike her, but I just don't know if I want to keep her on this island. I think if I were to get a horse to keep around, that it would be Poppy. I think that he looks really cool, and there's really not a whole lot of other horses that super excite me. I hope that you guys are doing well and have been having a great time where you are. Maybe you're getting ready for the holidays or something. Maybe you are not. I don't know. The museum is so... When the game first launched, obviously, we didn't have the art exhibit in the museum. The stairs just went to that upper balcony and there were the 2 benches and that was it. There was nothing there. And it's so funny because now, since the game has been updated to include the art gallery, you can just go right to the fancy model of the museum with the banners. There's no in-between one without the banners like there were in the game when it kind of first came out, like before they introduced red. Also, I cannot believe I forgot to donate that painting. I'm really glad that I didn't accidentally toss it or sell it or something. I thought about that as I was playing through this and I panicked because I thought that I got rid of it because like I know I didn't donate it, and for some reason I thought that like I got rid of it somehow instead of donating it. Really glad that that's not the case because that would have sucked. So wish me luck on trying to complete this with minimal help from Treasure Islands. This is going to take so long, but I have some ideas. I really would like to make a lot of the houses look like cabins. I think that would be really cute. Make it very wintry, not like a winter camp, but just like make it look really nice and cute. And I cannot wait to redo the villager home interiors, especially the Jock and Sisterly starters. Their houses look so barren. I cannot believe that that is even acceptable. Like they literally look like they're camping in their house. I say as I realize that I have a lantern on top of a cardboard box in my own Animal Crossing house. I don't know either too what I want to do with my house. Maybe I want to make my house into a cabin too, because one of the home exteriors does have log cabin options. And I hope that I unlock customization soon, because I keep forgetting I can't customize anything, and it's so bizarre not being able to do that. Like I haven't taken the customization workshop from Tom Nook. I'm sure that that unlocks after I invite the villagers or whatever. I can't remember. I'm not worried about it, but it's just weird not being able to do that, because I want things to kind of start to match a little bit more in the house. Specifically, I want to change the bed covers and stuff on that wooden simple bed. I do need to work more on paying off that home loan. I could probably just go to a Treasure Island and get bells. That would solve all of my problems, but I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm so conflicted. I love that Treasure Islands exist purely because I was able to get those items and the ornaments and stuff and advance in that way, like in terms of the DIYs, and not have to hunt for the seasonal DIYs. But I don't know if I want to use it to get bells. I want to like work towards it because I feel like if I speed through everything, then what am I doing? Like I'm just spending an endless amount of time decorating, which is fun, but I don't know. I feel like I would accomplish something if I actually paid off my home loan instead of just getting bells from the Treasure Island. Maybe when it gets to be a bigger amount of money, we will go to a Treasure Island and get the bells to pay it off. But anyway, that is it. We are done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, or suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!